Off on a new adventure. This one is in mold making. I went over to Reynolds Advanced Materials. I forget what it's called exactly, but Reynolds Advanced Materials, there it is. And I had two goals. One is to make fairy doors, a mold that can be used over and over again. And the other is to make one that can be used for food grade, food stuff. So here's what we came up with based on a number of things. I talked to the gals. So this one is the food safe for mold making. It is translucent silicone mold rubber, Sorta Clear 18. And so you have to note here that it uses a platinum catalyst. There are two different kinds. One uses platinum, the other uses tin, and you really don't want to mix the two because then, you know, bad things happen. Well, not terrible, I think, but just not great. So I chose this. It's a slightly flexible rubber. I chose clear because I wanted to be able to see what we were molding. I think it makes sense for it to be clear, and because this is food safe, I'm not going to worry about wondering if we can color it or anything like that. We're just going to leave it clear. For the non-food grade version, we're going to use this smooth cast 380. Oh, okay, this is for the finished product, right? So this is for the mold itself. Here is Mold Star 15 Slow, very soft. I got the softer ones because it's easier to take the item out of the mold. For making exact copies of original models, sculpted pieces and more. So that's 15 and this is 16. So I think that this has a slightly different texture. So let's see. I can feel that. Yeah, I think so, a little. Okay, and then this is slow, so this will take 4 hours to mold. And then this is fast, and this will take 5 minutes to mold. So you got to work fast. So each one of these products cost about a little over $30. 3, 6, 9, 12. I think it was $130 for all of this, as well as for those plus two of these. So probably about $30 each. And then these are modeling clays. And the key point is that you want to get sulfur-free modeling clay, because if you get anything with sulfur, then it is, and which is often used in the modeling clays from lower-end places, more hobby shop type places. Sulfur is used as a binding agent or as a cheaper mixing agent, and but it can combine with the silicone. The other thing you want to do is, once you have all of these, you see you have a little tray here that you're going to use for casting in. And the thing about the casting tray is that you cannot use glass, because this is silicone and it contains silica. And glass contains silica, so they would combine as opposed to, just mold in it. So the other thing that she mentioned is that for food grade, you're not going to use any latex. The reason is that, so you're going to use gloves, but use nitrile gloves, because if you use latex is off-gassing, and the agents that off-gas with latex could prohibit or inhibit your silicone from curing. All of these things. So she said they don't even store latex in the store because they just don't want to have that problem. And then what else? Nitrile gloves, plastic container. Okay, for whatever. Okay. Oh, right. And then so for the food grade one, it's going to be a little tricky knowing what's food grade and what's not. So what people do is they take a label, and while it's still curing, they embed the label into the mold, right? Because here we have something that's not food grade and something that's food grade, and we want to make sure that we know which one is which. So all of these things to consider. Now we're going to make fairy doors slowly. We may not get to this whole casting thing for a super long time, but at least we have the stuff. The place is in North Hollywood, and it's a very confusing little store. All the boxes look the same. They just have different labels on it. Very confusing. But let's see how we do. Okay, before we start doing anything else, we have a basic shape, rectangular, sort of door looking. Caprice had suggested that we use a plate from the light switch, and this is approximately the same size. I just used this card. There's a 4x6 card that I just used to model it off of. There's another thing I forgot to mention about the pouring of the silicone to make the mold. One thing that the gal at the store suggested is that you pour from high up and do a thin stream, which allows the bubbles to work their way out, so they don't end up marring the surface of the mold, because otherwise you'll get bubbles, and that's kind of icky. I'm sure there's a lot more stuff that she told me that I forgot. Oh, there's a vacuum chamber that you can use in lieu of doing this long, thin stream pour, but it's not a great... It's very expensive. It's like minimum $200 for the cheapo plastic thing, and you have to get an air compressor. Okay, so for this, I've got a basic door form. I'm going to make some sort of thing that looks twiggy for the, like it's made out of twigs. And then I think what I'd like to do is have a basic form that we provide and let students embellish it, like create something different around the outside so that they have some buy-in to it. Anyway, that's my idea now. It could change. Okay, figuring it out here. No sculptress, but using these popsicle sticks to make the major indentations, and then using a broken toothpick and dragging it along the strips of wood as they would have been, and then thereby making the minor indentations. And it's kind of nice, I think, to see a little squiggle here and there. So that works for me because I'm squiggly. Here we are, we've sculpted with this, with one of these, and with the toothpick. 2 different sizes of figure doors. Cool.